Hey, it's Emily and this is going to be a quarterly stats / favourites video. So in this video I'm going to go over some of the stats from the first 3 months of the year, January, February and March. I don't know why I'm speaking like this. And also going to go through a couple of my favourites, book of the month, a couple of other favourites like I don't know if you saw, I did a winter favourites video where I talked about bookish and non-bookish things that were my favourites from winter time, and I'm now going to throw that in at the end of this video. I feel like this is actually really high. Is that better? I can't tell. Anyway, but yeah, that's the plan for this video, and yeah, if you want to see that then stick around. Yeah, I suppose we should just jump straight on into the stat part. I'm going to do that first. I'm a mess today. Why am I even filming today? So starting off with my TBR, at the end or like the start of 2021, my TBR was at exactly 199 books. That's my physical TBR that I own on my TBR shelf over there. That does also include NetGalley books and any Kindle books. So yeah, that was what it was at the start of the year. However, now I've got it down to 188. So I have read more than 11 books this year. I just have also acquired loads, or I've read library books as well. So it is going down. My goal is to get it below 150. So by the end of like this year. So hopefully I will get there. I am sort of on track to get there. I definitely do want to focus more in the next few months on tackling my physical TBR, as I know when it hits my birthday I'll be treating myself to loads of books and that will increase my TBR again. So my focus for the next few months is to tackle my physical TBR to get that number back down a bit more, and yeah, hopefully not acquire so many. One thing I've been doing differently this year is that I've just been allowing myself to buy one book for every 5 books I read. So that doesn't include any books I've been gifted. However, if I want to buy myself a book, I have to wait till I've hit my next like 5 book milestone. So when I hit a number that ends in a 5 or a 0 on my like challenge. That doesn't include DNFs either. If I DNF a book, that doesn't count towards this goal. Anyway, that's been very beneficial. It's kept my TBR, like, it's not been growing as quickly as it has been towards the end of last year, and I'm definitely going to be continuing on that throughout the rest of the year. So on to the total amount of books I've read. If you are not including DNFs, which is what I do, then I've read 32 books so far this year. Is that right? Yes, 32 books. However, if you do include DNFs, then it's been 33, although my current read might be DNF'd, so it might go up to 34. However, that'll be revealed in my April wrap-up, potentially, if I do one. So the way that this has been broken down, I read 10 books in January, I read 12 books in February, which is bizarre. I don't normally read that many books, let alone in a shorter month. And I read 10 books in March. I'm filming this on the 4th of April, and so far this month I've only read 1. So that's how it's broken down so far, but if we're counting just the first 3 months, then it's been 32. No, 31. Wait, I'm so confused. Oh, that includes DNFs. So actually it would have been 9 books in March if I'm not including the DNF. That's why I got so confused then. I was like, that doesn't make 32 books. No, it does. It does. Wait, no. Oh, I'm so confused right now. How have I already got confused? In regards to the total amount of pages I've read, the total is 9,862 pages, which is pretty good. I'm very surprised at how many pages I've read. It has been going down throughout the months, because in January I read longer books, and so I read 3,393 pages that month, whereas it's been going down since, because I've been reading shorter books. But that's fine. That's fine. As long as it's clearing off my physical TBR, I don't mind how long the books have been. So yeah, that's the pages. If you do want the average number of pages I read this year so far, it is 306 per book. So that's there for you if you're interested. My current average rating throughout the whole year so far is 3.8, yes, 3.8 stars, which I'm not surprised at. I've had months where I've had really low rated books, like January was quite low, whereas last month in March I had consistently really good reads, like 4.5 star books. So yeah, I am not surprised by the 3.8 star rating. That's pretty good and pretty much expected. Yeah. In regards to any DNFs I've had so far this year, I have DNF'd 1 book, and that was in March, and I think I mention it in a vlog, so if I do, I'll leave that up somewhere if you do want to check that out. But yeah, the only real reason I DNF'd it is because I was in a bit of a mini slump and I really wanted to focus on it. It was a poetry collection and I really wanted to absorb all like the meanings of it all and the messages it was like portraying, so I definitely wasn't in the right frame of mind to read it, and I'll definitely go back to it again in the future. Okay, so I've got my laptop with some charts on, so that's why I'll be looking down. We're now going to move on to the genre of these books. So actually the most read genre is fantasy with 6 books. I'll leave the chart here if I can. Editor Emily jumping in again. I feel like this happens all the time in my videos now, and apologies I look a mess, but I just wanted to point out that some of these screenshots of the graph don't match up to what I'm saying. That's because I forgot to take screenshots of the graph before adding in my April read, so where I have read a couple of books this month already in April, that they're now included in these graphs. So yeah, sorry, it might not match up, but what I was saying when I filmed this matched the stats for the first 3 months. So apologies, but yeah, I'll let you continue. However, out of the 31 books I read in the first 3 months, 6 isn't that much and the rest are kind of realistic fiction. Other big genres are romance, contemporary, classics and mysteries. So yeah, those are kind of the bigger genres. They're on like 4 and 3 kind of each. So yeah, I would definitely say I read a lot more realistic fiction than fantasy or sci-fi. I have actually read 2 sci-fi books this year, which have been Aurora Rising and Aurora Burning. Looking at the page length, or like the length of the books that I've read, there are 3 big chunks and they all have 6 books in each. The first one is 100 to 150 pages long. This will be the Horrible Histories books, Killjoy, and the, I think, Roman Mysteries books fits into that. It might do, I can't remember, but very short horror histories, that sort of thing. That would be that category. Then it's 250 to 300 and then 450 to 500. Those are the big chunks, as well as 350 to 400, which has 5 books. And apparently, according to the core pile thing, it says I've read across 12 different genres this year so far, so that's good. I am trying to read more diversely and try out new genres, whether they're for me or not, so I'm glad that it says 12 already. Sorry if the angles change, I just had to sort out my storage issue again. But looking at the star rating, I have had 0 1 stars, 1 1.5 star, 2 2 stars, 0 2.5 stars, 3 3 stars, 3 3.5 stars, 10 4 stars, 5 4.5 stars, 4 5 stars, 4 books I didn't rate and 1 DNF. So that's how my ratings look right now. If I create a chart I will put it in, but I might have forgotten by the time I edit this and upload it, so apologies if I don't. Right, let's look at some more stats. Okay, so looking at the age category, actually, I read equal amounts of young adult and adult books, with 12 each, and then 1 children's, and then the rest were middle grade. And when looking at the publication year, they're kind of just all random, but the most common year is actually 2020, so fairly new releases, and I'm glad I'm getting to them on my TBR. So when looking at LGBTQ+ rep, about half of the books I've read have had representation in it, which I do want to change. I do want to increase that. When looking at how I got the books that I've read, 14 of them have been gifted to me, which is actually quite a lot, whereas I've only previously owned by myself, like bought myself. The number is 11. That sentence made no sense. I've read 11 books that I previously owned myself, that I bought myself, and the rest of them were borrowed from the library or from like Scribd if I just had the audiobook, that sort of thing. Out of all the books I've read so far this year, I have only one has been a reread, whereas the rest were reading them for the first time. 22 of them have been series and the rest have been standalones, and I currently so far have finished 3 series this year, and my goal was to finish 4 series. So I'm nearly reaching that goal. My goal is in 4 books for the whole year, 4 series I wanted to finish across the whole year, so I'm nearly there, which is brilliant. So that's it for the actual stats. I'm now going to quickly talk about some of my favourite books of the year so far, and yeah. This may not be a surprise to anyone, but my favourite book from January was Aurora Rising. I fell in love with this. It's something to do with like Jake Kristoff and Amy Kaufman's writing. the Illuminae Files, the Aurora Rising, the Aurora Cycle trilogy. I just love them. I don't know, I just fell in love with this whole crew, all the characters, and it was so action-packed, which is exactly what I need from this sort of genre, like fantasy sci-fi. To keep me engaged, I definitely need like action, and this definitely delivered. And I highly recommend, if you like sci-fi, then definitely check this out. It's YA, so it's quite an easy read, and I listened to the audiobook, and I recommend that because it's a full cast, because you get like everyone's perspective. Well, I say everyone, we get like the main crew's perspective, so yeah, highly recommend. It was quite chonker. I loved tabbing it up, as you can see. I don't know if you can, but it's in rainbow. No prizes for guessing that I gave Aurora Rising and Aurora Burning 5 stars. So yeah, on to February's favourite book of the month. There was no doubt in my mind when I picked Cruel Summer by Juno Dawson to be my book of the month for February. I loved it. As you can probably tell from the tabs, I literally tabbed so much. It is such a good book. It's a great YA mystery thriller, a thriller more than anything. It's so engaging, especially the last, like from halfway onwards. I was just like, couldn't put it down. This is a group of friends reuniting 1 year after they left sixth form, and they go away on holiday to Spain together to stay in one of the girls' like villas. They haven't seen each other since the summer before, when one of the girls in their friendship group supposedly committed suicide. When they reunite, there's a bit of an elephant in the room. They don't really know what to say initially, and then someone else turns up and basically says she has proof that one of them murdered this girl. It's got the mystery of, did this girl actually get murdered? Was it one of us? But it also has so many thrilling moments throughout. So many plot twists, so many like curveballs, and I was just couldn't stop reading it from like halfway. It was so good. I highly recommend Juno Dawson's writing. If you haven't read anything by her before, definitely pick this up, especially if you like YA mystery thriller. Very like Good Girl's Guide to Murder, One of Us is Lying sort of vibes. So if you like that sort of thing, then this is definitely for you. 5 stars from me. And for March, there was no real standout books for me. As I mentioned earlier, I was pretty consistent with 4.5 star ratings. There was no 5 stars, so I decided to go for Misery by Stephen King. This was a 4.5 star rating, and it definitely had me hooked. This was my first Stephen King book, and it definitely didn't disappoint. I'll probably be checking out more from him in the future, but this follows Paul Sheldon, who gets in a car accident and he wakes up and he's in this house, and looking after him is his #1 fan. He's an author, I forgot to say. He's a best-selling author. His #1 fan rescues him. She happens to be a nurse, but things aren't quite as they seem, and it just goes from there. As you can see, I tabbed up a lot, and it was just, so gripping. I've seen the movie, and this was like a step up in like Psycho. As well as being like really like messed up, there were bits that just made me laugh, like some of the things that Annie said. Annie, who's the #1 fan, some of the things she said just literally made me laugh. Just some of her phrases, how she was like cock-a-doodie, or like, oh, what's the quote she says? I've tabbed it up because it just made me laugh. Like something she said here where it's like, you bet your Rudy patooties I had, or like when she goes, Mr. Man. That sort of thing, that makes me laugh. Just the things. I was listening to the audiobook as well, and that just made it even like creepier. But like at some point, she basically just got a pig, and that's named after Misery, the main character of like Paul's books, and she makes like, there's like this line of just like pig noises, and listening to that in the audiobook literally made me laugh when she was like I just couldn't. But it was just such like a wild ride that it just had to be book of the month for me. There was no other reason for that. So that's it for my quarterly stats / faves. I haven't got any non-bookish faves really. I haven't really like discovered much new music, which I normally go through. I have actually been going back and loving R5. I loved R5 in like 2012, 2013, and I've just been listening to some of their songs. I've just been jamming to Lightning Strikes or Smile or All Night, that sort of like album. That it's just been good jams. So that's probably the only non-bookish thing that I've been loving. I've also started writing again. It's day 4 right now of Camp NaNoWriMo, and I've actually been making great progress with that and writing about 1,000 words a day, which is actually great for me. Normally, I haven't actually touched my book since about September last year, so making any progress on it has been great, and I've fallen back in love with my characters, which is always amazing. And I'm currently about 80,000 words into that novel. But that is actually it for me now. Thank you very much for watching. If you've got to the end, thank you very much. If you liked it, please give it a like and subscribe if you are new around here, and I look forward to seeing you soon with a new video. Bye!